Hello everyone, welcome to the history class. In this video, I'll be continuing with the chapter The Age of Industrialization of class 10th history. Students, till so far in my previous videos, I have discussed about how the Industrial Revolution started in England, how it spread to the European land. Now in this video, I'll be discussing about the effects of Industrial Revolution on the lives of the people across the world. So let's start the topic. Industrial Revolution was a mixed blessing. Production by machines had met the growing needs of the growing population. Only machines have made it possible for the mankind to meet the primary necessities of food, cloth and shelter. But beside these facts, machines have revealed men of drudgery of tiring and unpleasant job. Machines have brought more leisures, which in turn has been utilized for the promotion of arts and leisure. Since most of the works were done by machines and production was on a large scale, so it also resulted in sparing time for other activities like promotion of art, literature and many other forms of entertainments. Machines have made life quite easy and comfortable. New inventions have brought new joys and had added pleasure to our lives. Development in the means of transport and communication has developed trade and thus brought all the countries of the world nearer to each other. This had led to beginning of a globalization. Now the different nations of the world, they are coming together. They are coming close to each other through trade and communication. Now we'll be discussing about the life of the workers. And remember students, we are discussing about the life of the workers in England especially and the European countries. The abundance of labor in the market affected the lives of the workers. A large number of people migrated to cities and towns in search of jobs, and getting a job dependent on existing network of friendship and kin relations. Many job seekers had to wait weeks, spending nights under bridges and in night shelters. Seasonality of work in many industries meant prolonged period without work. This was a very prominent feature. Very little attention was given towards welfare of the worker. The fear of unemployment made workers hostile to introduction of the new technology. When the spinning jenny was introduced in the woolen industry, women who survived on hand spinning began attacking the new machines. After 1840s, building activities intensified in cities, opening up greater opportunities of employment for the people. These are certain things which are very prominent when the industrialization took place in England, because every person who was in search of job and was in a hope that he or she will get a job in the industries, new opening industries. It was not possible for everyone. Reason being, still the number of industries were less, and in many industries, the seasonality of the work resulted a large spread seasonal unemployment. Now, England affects India's economy. Before the Industrial Revolution, India was a major producer of cotton, woolen and silken cloth, indigo and spices, etc. But now she suffered a severe setback in these spheres. The Industrial Revolution enabled England to produce more and more goods at cheaper rates, for which they needed vast market. As such, the Indian markets were flooded by the machine-made goods from England. India being one of the biggest colony of England, England utilized it as their market, as a source of raw material. So India was serving two important purposes of England at that time. It was producing raw material on a large number for the industries of England, and when the manufactured goods are prepared there, these goods were on a large scale sent to India. So India was serving as a market for England made goods. Very soon the Indian karkhanas or the small scale industries became idle. They started declining. Now, talking about the age of Indian textiles, a variety of Indian merchants and bankers were involved in the network of export, trade, financing, production, carrying goods and supplying exporters. It was not that when the England was doing trade in India, they were largely supported by the Indian people. By 1750s, this network controlled by Indian merchants were breaking down. The European companies gained power and monopoly right to trade. This resulted in declining of old ports like Surat and Hooghly, through which the local merchants had operated earlier. Surat and Hooghly decayed and new ports like Bombay and Calcutta grew. This is a very important point here. When the British East India Company came to India for doing trade, and earlier also when other European companies came to India for doing trade, at that time the Indian merchants and traders were having a very good hold over the trade. They were having very strong relations with strong ties with the local workers and producers, and they were initially in their beginning of the European trade in Indian soil. The Indians were supporting them, but slowly, steadily, they have realized, the East India Company and other European companies have realized that they need to eliminate the Indian merchants and traders as an intermediary between them and the workers. So they took many steps regarding this. We will be discussing these steps in detail. What happened to the weavers? Initially, when East India Company rose to power, it did not lead to decline of Indian trade. When it established political power, it proceeded to develop a system of management and control that would eliminate competition, control cost, and ensure regular supplies of cotton and silk good. They took series of steps. Company appointed a paid servant called the Gomastas to supervise weaver, collect supplies and examine the quality of cloth. This is very, very, very important from exam point of view. Question often comes on Gomastas, who were Gomastas and what were their functions. So we need to understand that they were the paid English servant in East India Company who were specially appointed for looking after the trading thing with the local producers. Their work was to develop a tie or relations with the local producers or workers, supervise, give them orders, give them money in advance, and make sure that they'll produce goods only for the East India Company. They supervise all these activities. They also examine the quality of the cloth that was produced by them. Now, it prevented company weavers to deal with other buyers. One way of doing this was through the system of advances to the weavers so that they could not sell their produce other than Gomastas. So, this was again a very important thing. Since the East India Company was paying the producers and the workers in advance for their production, so they actually controlled them. When the goods were produced, the Indian producers cannot sell it to any other European companies. They had to sell it to the East India Company. This ensures a regularity of goods for the East India Companies. The new Gomastas were outsiders with no social links with villages. They acted arrogantly with the weavers. The weaver lost the space to bargain for prices and sell to different buyers. The prices they received from the company was low, and loans they had accepted tied them to the company. So this became a very big reason for the Indians producers to work for the East India Company, since they had already accepted the loans or money in advance from the East India Company. So they have to sell it to the East India Company. They cannot sell it to other buyers. Over time, many weavers began refusing loans, closing down their workshops and taking to agricultural labor. and this became one of the reason, because they cannot since they have taken the money in advance, they cannot refuse giving their produce to the East India Company. So they started leaving their jobs, leaving their karkhanas and workshops, and they started becoming the agricultural labor. When industries developed in England, export of British cotton goods increased dramatically in the early 19th century. Cotton weavers in India faced two problems at the same time. Firstly, their export market collapsed, and secondly, the local market shrank, which were full of Manchester import. So this was a twin problem that the cotton weavers in India were facing. Firstly, they could not export to the other countries, and second was that their own local market was flooded with the foreign goods, so they cannot sell their produce easily in the market. Produced by the machine at lower costs, the imported cotton goods were so cheap that weavers could not easily compete with them. Handmade good is always costlier than the machine made good. So the Indians who were producing things, they were doing it not using the machines, by their hands. So their goods cannot compete with the machine made goods. By the 1860s, weavers faced a new problem. They could not get sufficient supply of raw cotton of good quality. When American Civil War broke out and cotton supplies from US were cut off, Britain turned to India. As raw cotton exports from India increased, the price of raw cotton shot up. Now this has resulted another problem for the weavers, since maximum cotton was supplied to the British industries since the American Civil War took place. So the raw cotton which was coming from America, now it was not sent to British industries. So Britain turned to India. India, being one of the biggest colony, solved this purpose of British industries, because now a large quantity of raw cotton was exported to British industries. So the local weavers, they could not get raw cotton for producing their own goods. So this also became a severe problem for the weavers in India. So students, these were certain of problems that the expanding industrial growth in England affected the Indian markets, affected the lives of the workers here, because India, one of the biggest colony of England, solved many purposes of British industries. So the weavers and the producers here in India, they suffered a lot with the growing industrialization in England. So their life changed dramatically. So this was all about the effects of British trade in India. I hope you like this session. Thank you for watching this video.